Hi, my name is Selena, and I just have a bit of a discussion that I want to start and see how many people want to join in on this discussion with me. So recently I've been watching videos where authors have been talking about a particular topic, and then in the books that I've been reading lately I have seen a certain trend, and I thought, this is interesting, and I wanted to see what everyone else out there thought. And yeah, so the trend that I've been seeing is this passion discussed and shared in terms of faith. And I am a person of faith, and so I like to see other people share their faith passionately and positively. And since I am also a book lover, I am so happy when I come upon a character or an author who is passionate about what they believe. And when anyone's passionate about anything, you are automatically drawn in. I remember teachers who were just passionate about their subject. You automatically have fun and love that subject, whether you really like it or not. And then there are also booktubers. I mean, you guys out there who make these videos and you're just fangirling or fanboying over various books or authors, it's inevitable that it just makes me want to read those books. But this is a different type of passion, because it's rooted in what I'm going to talk about, because it's rooted in faith and in belief, which is so much more part of who we like to define ourselves to be, whether you're a person of faith or a person who is of no faith. It's what we believe seems to be more part of ourselves, and so when people express that passionately, I find that interesting and intriguing. So recently I was watching an interview of Patrick Rothfuss when he was interviewed on the Sword and Laser vlog over at Geek and Sundry, and he is the author of The Name in the Wind. And he was asked the question about when did he realize his passion for reading and fantasy literature, and he cited reading the Bible with his mom. He said he came from a big faith community, big faith family, and his mom, and he would read some stories, biblical stories, before going to bed. And she would read a story, and he would read a story, and that kind of developed his love of reading. So I thought that that was interesting that he would share that it was his mother's passion for her faith that she shared then with her son that brought about this epic story and the craze that's going around. I just think that's interesting that he would point it back to that passion. The second thing that I noticed when reading a series that everyone has been reading on BookTube, Divergent by Veronica Roth. Now, I am not one to read a lot of the acknowledgments or things that go in the back. I just like the story and then that's it. But while reading the story, I was amazed by how the people who did have faith were portrayed. Usually they're portrayed kind of dumpy or dopey or just plain cruel and mean. Ignorant would be another type of characteristic. I would say I see a lot of people of faith being portrayed as. But in the book Divergent and in the series, faith wasn't portrayed. It was portrayed very just matter-of-factly. These were just regular people. Nothing. They weren't people to be pitied. They weren't people to be despised. They were just people. And I thought that that was, to me, it was different enough that I took notice of it. And I was pretty intrigued by how she was portraying people of faith. And I got to the back of the book, and the first line of the acknowledgement, Veronica writes, "Thank you, God, for your son and for blessing me beyond comprehension." And so then I was like, oh, now it makes sense why she would portray people of faith the way that she did. And I respected that. I thought that that was very different, and it was different enough for me to take notice, like I said, even before reading the acknowledgement, of how differently people who had faith and allowed their faith to be expressed in their actions were portrayed in literature. And then I started reading a book that was published back in the 1800s, and just listening to the writer talk about faith. It's commonplace for the back in that day, but then again it was reminding me of how different things are now with literature, and how that is very rarely the case where people will talk positively and passionately about their faith, and that's the key. I mean, positive is the key here. I mean, people can be passionate about their faith, and that passion can be shown in very negative ways. And yes, a lot of craptastic things happen in the name of faith, and yeah. But I started reading The Quest by Nelson DeMille this weekend, and the character that we're first introduced to is a monk who's in prison, and the language and the way that he talks about how he's been in this prison, but the Bible that he has and his reading of the Bible has kept him sane, again reminded me of the interview with Patrick Rothfuss about having a faith that works in your being so much so that it just can't help but show itself in just passion in the way people act. So that's just something I've been noticing lately in my reading that I find refreshing, is when people talk, share, and write about their faith in positive, passionate ways. So I don't want to be the last word on this topic at all. So please leave me comments, things down below. I want to keep this discussion going, make a video talking about what you feel or how you see or respond to faith in your reading. Do you think that it's a good thing? Do you not like it? Yeah, I want to start this topic and this conversation going, and I think it could be an interesting topic. Bye. Like and subscribe if you want. You don't have to.